In the name and knowledge of Master Farad Muhammad, I meet and greet all of you. Ancient words of peace, Hotep, Shalom, Anu, Salamu, Rahubat, to all the Nubians that's watching. I just want to run something by everyone who are now being introduced to the 5% or the Anu 5%. Those of us who claim to be the continuation of the 5% nation as it relates to 1930. Some people argue about whether the suffix ER was originally introduced later in Harlem or was it used in 1930. And that's not really much of an argument, because you have some elders that say that some people used the suffix ER amongst the groups in the 1930, as they were learning that the 5% was those who bear witness to Son of Man, who came in the person of W.D. Farad, those who believed as Elijah Muhammad believed, and his brother John Muhammad, that he was indeed God in the flesh, the highest amongst all the gods. We all gods, but this is the one that's supposed to be the highest. And so it is in that light that I want to reintroduce the idea of the term 5%'s origin. We don't really want to confuse it with the whether or not the term percenter was used before or after the term 5%. We're learning that the term 5% was already used, and it's in everybody's lessons. It's in whether you study in the 120 or whether you study in the Supreme Wisdom lessons as it was given to us by W.D. Farad originally. And in those lessons, you see that Farad is called the leader of Islam. He's not only called a prophet, things of that nature, but he's literally called the leader of Islam. And so, the Messenger told us in plenty of cases that the leader of Islam is Allah. So under that pretense of the lessons, in that context. So we just want to run that by each other, that we need to stop disrespecting each other in these little chat groups that include those who consider themselves the 5% and trying to shun off people who don't consider themselves 5%ers. You know, what am I trying to say? I saw earlier that a dude said F the NGE, or the nations of gods and earths. Who are y'all? Father Allah never approved of y'all and all that stuff. I'm saying to myself, but it don't matter what nickname you're using. Like, both of y'all is actually an error when it comes to what a true 5% is. We're not worried about what a 5%er is, because a 5%er is anyone relating to the 5%. So that can be a neighbor. That can be the mailman. That doesn't necessarily make you part of the 5%. And so the 5%, is in the lessons as those who knew W.D. Farad to be the Son of Man. And so the NGE has to come to grips with that. And the 5%ers have to come to grips with that. That you're being extended members or considered green carded immigrants in this relationship to being the 5%er, until you accept W.D. Farad as the one in charge. Now you're actually a visitor in this conversation of the Supreme Wisdom. You're a visitor, and you're practicing the Nimrod system. And people try to even confuse Elijah Muhammad's teachings with the current representation under the names of Nation of Islam, New Nation of Islam. Again, these are also no different than Nation of Gods and Earths and 5%er. They're all the same guessworks, and they tried their best. But the Messenger and Farad Muhammad is all we're supposed to be studying. Some people owe their relationship to these teachings and waking up, they owe it to Farrakhan. Well, you got people that owe it to other ministers. But I'm here to say that you don't owe it to neither one of them. You owe it only to Allah. And his messenger has come. His life and his death was all for him. So we have to take his message and apply it. So anybody who has used the supreme wisdom lessons, until we see Farad in your forehead, something that you show the people, or at least a subject that you build on, you are a visitor. Because the Nation of Islam is the people themselves. It's not an organization. We created different organizations and things of that nature. No different than when we created the newspaper, Muhammad Speaks. But these were added on. These were not mandatory things. The letter that you wrote to Chicago and things of that nature, these were added on things. These are things that were good for the people. Some people needed a University of Islam. Some people needed a captain and a lieutenant system. However, let's not forget the root of the situation is nation building from the homes of the people themselves. It started off door to door, it started off face to face, started off people to people. Because the entire goal of this is mind to mind. So let's just not go too far from what we're supposed to be looking for, brothers. We're looking for this name, Farad. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the meanings behind the name Farad. We're looking at the history of what you learn from the supreme wisdom of Farad. We're not here to get caught up on what Father Allah, peace be upon him, did with it, because he was a visitor in the wisdom, in the knowledge. He had to be washed up and placed in it also. He is not an authority over it. Elijah spoke of Clarence or Father Allah no differently than he spoke of his own son Wallace. He said both of them are guessers. And Farrakhan helped out Wallace with the guesswork. The Farrakhan is also included in those who are no longer ever looked at as an authority. They always just looked at as good brothers, good speeches, good ideas, but we all owe it to Farad. So Melchizedek, I see you on Sonetta, I see you all over. I see that. You're good for your people, for the immediate conversations, but it's a few things that you didn't get answered. It's a few things. It's a few things that you didn't get answered. So I'm here to answer them for you. Any questions on the relationship of how W.D. Farad is Allah and how Clarence Father Allah was wrong about his meanings towards how he treated the subject of W.D. Farad? These are the things that we need to be talking about. How Father Allah, aka Clarence, how he cared nothing about the position that W.D. Farad clearly had as the supreme being amongst us, as the Most High amongst us. These are the things that we need to be speaking on. These are the things. All right, peace.